Meeting called to order. Councilmember Chapman.
Here.
Councilmember Clayton.
Here.
Councilmember Kendall.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Here.
Mayor Moore.
Here.
Please stand for a silent prayer, a moment of reflection. We will now salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the following manner. The annual notice was forwarded to the Asbury Park Press, the Coaster, the Star Ledger on January 7, 2021, and posted on the bulletin board the same date. All notices are on file with the city clerk. We have a proclamation recognizing the 100th birthday of Leonard Rokaw. We are now on to special events.
The first application before you is from the New Jersey Reentry Corporation to use Springwood Park on October 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Next is Porch Fest with adjusted hours. It will take place 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October 2nd. The homecoming parade is canceled, so we don't need to consider that this evening. Next is the Heck Street Block Party on October 9th. And the New Jersey Children's Alliance 5K with, again, adjusted hours from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the 24th. And lastly is the Asbury Park AYF Breast Cancer Walk, which will take place solely on the boardwalk between the casino and convention hall on October 9th. Are there any questions?
Not hearing any, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We're on to matters from City Council. Councilmember Chapman.
Hold on for a minute.
The Asbury Park Community Green Festival will take place on October 2nd in Springwood Park from 11 to 3. It's also the kickoff for Porch Fest at 11 o'clock. So there'll be entertainment, live music, community information tables, kids' activities, eco-friendly demonstrations, food trucks, and more. There'll also be, police will be there giving out bicycle lights and bicycle helmets, and the fire department will be there to give out free smoke detectors. Again, that's October 2nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Councilmember Clayton.
The public library is having what they're calling a garden book sale. All books are 25 cents, and you enter through the side gate off of First Avenue. It's taking place on Wednesday, September 22nd, between 12 and 7 p.m., Thursday, September 23rd, between 10 and 4 p.m., and Friday, September 24th, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And again, all books are 25 cents. Thank you.
Councilmember Kendall.
I'd like to just send out my condolences to Cassandra Dickinson and her family. They had death in their family, and the funeral was yesterday. And I'd like to send out my condolences to the Dickinson and the Harlem family. It was the funeral was yesterday, and I just feel that it was necessary because she's a member of the Asbury Park team to just say that to her and the family. Wish them well and God bless them. On October the 2nd, Coffee with a Councilman, Arlene Chapman, and myself will be at
Macrobites on Springwood.
Macrobites at 10 o'clock. You're welcome to come. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
I have nothing.
Mayor Moore.
The only thing, a follow-up to the proclamation for Mr. Leonard Rokaw. He's a neighbor of mine, and on the 29th, of September, he will be 100 years old. He's a proud WW2 veteran and just a nice gentleman. So Lenny, if you're watching, happy birthday. Thank you.
Matters from the city manager.
I have nothing, Melody.
Matters from the city attorney.
Yes, I have nothing at this time either, Melody.
We will now move on to the public participation portion of the meeting. Do I have a motion to open the meeting to the public with a 3-minute time limit for each speaker?
Move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now open to members of the public. Please go to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and each speaker will have 3 minutes.
I'm a little short. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Linda Phillips, 1110 and a half Fifth Avenue. I just wanted to offer my appreciation to the council for putting the resolution for the disinvestment of fossil fuels from the state pensions on the agenda today. And that's it. I really appreciate it. I think climate change is like, there's so many important things going on in the world, but if climate change continues the way it is, all of those things we're not going to be able to deal with any of them. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And just so everybody knows, Linda's the one who brought it to our attention, asked if we could do that. And obviously, we're doing it, and we're going to adopt it tonight. So, Linda, thank you.
Hello, Peter Siegel, 1412 Main Street. Hello, everybody. So I wanted to just repeat a question that I had asked a couple of council meetings ago, and I'm looking for a more concrete response. Since that time, I've had the opportunity to speak to several people in the administration regarding this, and the issue in question is regarding the rent leveling ordinance. There are many property owners, I'm told, and certainly myself as a property owner, am concerned about the fact that we've been told that there's some potential amendments being reviewed and considered for this ordinance, and among those issues being reviewed has to deal with the issue of registrations, of the various registrations that the ordinance may or may not require from property owners. And the administration has said before that they'll extend the deadline until it gets worked out, and maybe, we were told actually the deadline would be extended to September 30th, and perhaps it would be another extension for 30 days. I'd like to just get some clarity from you guys, and maybe on the record. I think the best, my suggestion would be, if I may, would be to delay the deadline until such time that you actually review and the proposed amendments, and that information is known to the community. That way, we're not continually kicking the can down the road. Right now, I just have no idea when my registrations have to be in or not or whatever, and I've put in some registrations but not others because they're up for review, and why submit them if they're not going to be required, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to offer this question again tonight so that perhaps I can get some clarity. Again, I have had the chance to speak to certain people in the administration, and that's been helpful, but I'd like to just know if we can get an answer once and for all, that we can wait to do this until it's finally decided on. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Mr. Siegel, the deadline has not changed. However, we are requesting that everyone do their best to get the information that we need to our board. In the event you don't get it to us by the deadline, we're not going to impose any sanctions or anything like that. However, should a case arise from one of your tenants and we don't have that information, we will require that you submit it at that time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Rita Miranda, 8th Avenue, 504. This is a stupid question, but you do have a receptionist here in City Hall. So how come the machine goes on right away and the reception doesn't answer, the receptionist? Candy used to answer all the time. I don't know, is this when doing something else or? Shouldn't, if you have a receptionist, shouldn't she be the one to answer the phone and direct you? Number one. And number two, I just read, I don't know too much about this budget that everybody's talking about that's in the Tri-City News, but I just wanted to remind you that we do have in our government initiative and referendum, just like they had the rent control, get the signatures, put it on the ballot. We don't need anything else to confuse us. I think there's enough confusion going on in Asbury. And I also heard that it was a very good event. I didn't go down, but I did have a lot of company that did go down. They said it was very well run and everything. But then when I looked into some of the statistics, it didn't seem like we got enough money. I couldn't get all the numbers. I have a few. But I hear that we only got $3 on every ticket when the ticket is $300. That's like 1%. I think we should have got a little bit more. That was a big inconvenience for everybody in town. You couldn't park, you couldn't do anything. It was a good event, and I'm glad you had it. But we should get our money's worth. I don't know who negotiates these deals, but maybe you should have some business people negotiating for you, because it wasn't a good contract for us. It was a good event, but we should have made more money than we did. I don't know all the details. Those are the only two I know, that we got $75 up front and $3 for every ticket. And according to the newspaper, we had 39,000 people here. So I think we really could have made more. And I don't know if they're paying for parking. There's a lot of other details to this contract, so maybe you can explain it. About the budget, this budget, and about the event, and about the receptionist.
You
Did you
got-
miss me?
Yes. Scared.
I missed you too.
Okay, are you done, Rita?
Yes.
I apologize. I don't have a clue what you're talking about, a budget in the Tri-City News. So we'll skip that, and you can call tomorrow and we'll try to figure that out. As far as the money taken in by the concert, we don't have a complete accounting yet. We'll gladly make that public. And as far as the receptionist, I'll let Don answer that.
So our receptionist does answer the phone when she's available. When it's not, it goes into our voicemail tree. That's it, Mel. Next.
Next person?
What about the receptionist?
I just said that, Rita. We have a receptionist
I can't
who,
hear you on that microphone.
we have a receptionist that answers the phone when she's able. When she is busy or away from her area, it goes into our voicemail tree. Go ahead, Mel.
I don't see any other members standing. No.
That's it?
That's it. We answered all three of your questions. Again, I don't understand your question about some budget in the Tri-City News.
Well, he wrote a very big article and he's in favor of it, but, you know, that's Dan Jacobson.
Okay.
In favor of
And
what?
people better remember that we do have initiative on our parameters. And it's part of our law. We're under the Fulton Act. I understand they tried this budget in Neptune, and they tried it in Freehold. And they went to a lot of other places. People choose, every one of you.
Time's
has
up.
some kind of a thing that you like to do. Just take Jesse, he likes to entertain.
Okay, Rita,
Your 3 minutes have been done.
your 3 minutes are up. And we figured out what budget you're talking about. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ron Simoncini, Asbury Park Property Owners Coalition. To follow on the rent control regulation generally and registration specifically. So the registration that was deferred until September 30th and now doesn't have any consequence if you don't do it is a symptom. And I appreciate, certainly on behalf of the membership, which is confused about whether or not it should register or not, to say at a meeting like this, there's no consequence from not registering when registration is not required in the ordinance, sets a confusing circumstance. And I think that the symptom here is of the role of the rent control board versus the role of the administration in determining how to follow the policy that's reflected in the ordinance itself. So that's how I think it needs to be looked at is, if you've debated 5 months for an ordinance, you pass the ordinance. The ordinance has specific conditions in it. When we were debating this and we were thinking about whether or not the referendum that the tenant activists offered was a good idea, you came up with what you wanted. You could have put anything you wanted in that ordinance and you put in what you put in. During that time, the dialogue was, from the tenant activist side, pass our referendum and let's let it go for the 2 years that it'll be frozen and see what happens. Well, you debated that and found what you thought to be best for Asbury Park. And now we're talking about amendments, which are based on a regulatory status that's not reflected in the ordinance. So on behalf of the property owners, I would say, have you had anybody complain that they've been overcharged rent? Right now, I think your ordinance is working the way that it's supposed to work. It protects tenants from displacement. It assures that landlords can't raise rents beyond a certain point. And the administration of the ordinance is very efficient. Your rent leveling department, which is made up of some people, Mr. Goodman, Mr. Murata, I think that needs to be looked at as to what their motivation is by asserting registration. I have a lot of experience with Mr. Murata in Union City. I don't want to go through the whole thing here right now. I encourage you to look at the Union City Housing Initiative website and make yourself acquainted with the rent control environment there. The registration policies and the things that they've fomented on your own website, contrary to the conditions of your ordinance, are exactly what they do in Union City, where there's federal lawsuit after federal lawsuit, where the last rent control administrator not only left, she fled the country.
Time's up.
I would just close by saying, please take a look at that and consider what you wanted from the rent control ordinance versus what administrative employees of yours are attempting to create a rent control franchise out of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alice Krasutsky, 610 Sewell Ave. I just want to speak to what we're clearly seeing. I want to put it out there, said I told you so. I know that having to change this ordinance and having the ability to change it is going to create many situations like this. That being said, I just want to be the one person to stand up and say that I'm not going to get up here and basically ascribe ill will or ill intent to municipal employees that are helping out with what this city clearly wants. And in addition to that, I think that what you're essentially asking for is a waiver, and you're essentially saying, and I think that the city is going out of its way to say, look, we're not going to essentially shut you down if you don't get this done, because we understand it's a serious change. But again, I fully understand that this is a slow rollback for the property owners, and again, I'm not also going to come here and bring in the politics of rent leveling of another city that is multiple times the size of Asbury Park. Union City is one of the largest municipalities in New Jersey and much larger than Asbury Park, both vertically and horizontally. And not to mention, I think it's incredibly unprofessional for a government relations professional, or I hope to God not counsel, to come in here and bring in the private business of another city and act like this is the same thing. It's not only absurd, but it shows to the misdirection that has characterized every ounce of advocacy coming from the property owners. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to be heard? Seeing none? Oh, yes, sir.
Matthew Sigmund, 700 Emory Street. First, I want to compliment the council. See Here Now was incredible. Looked like John had a good time. Probably should have put on a little bit lotion. I'm sure your wife's a little mad at you, but it was a great event nonetheless. I want to echo some of the sentiment of the property owners. We're in this interesting, catch-22. Just to go back, because on the record, because, not everyone's going to be on the council forever, but I was an opponent of even having a council initiative to fight the other side initiative, because now we're in this situation where at any given time, any council, whether it's now or in the future, could change this. And that's kind of a Pandora's box. And we're sort of seeing that occur right now with not that, it's miscommunicated or we're not understanding exactly what to do. The attorney that was selected, that was just selected. I don't know if there was a vetting process to that. And just as a landowner, we're just very confused, and there's not a lot of clear direction as what we're supposed to do. To echo some of the sentiments before, this ordinance is on the record now. Has any tenant brought it to the city and said, my landlord charged me more than 3.5%? I think that's a good question, because from our perspective, it's looking like a lot of administrative paperwork coming our way, a lot more administrative fees between lawyers and everything else. And I think that's what the initial council, the one that got voted in, and we're trying to go away from that. So as a landlord, I could say myself, I've only raised tenants 3.5% or lower, depending on the situation. We're going to continue doing that and obliging to the ordinance. Just don't want to get administratively crazy and paperwork crazy. So if we could just have a medium where, it's not so information driven and administrative costly, with direction and how we're going to do this, that's all we're trying to do and work with it. If we need to meet with the council, it could be property owners and tenant advocates. We could come up with a solution, unless you guys are in charge. There's a lot of this, and we just want direction and not administrative burdensome paperwork, and to comply with everything. And See Here Now was amazing. Great job. Hopefully it comes back even stronger next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Move to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now closed to the public. We have the minutes. I have the minutes of the Municipal Council Executive Meeting of September 8th, the Municipal Council Regular Meeting minutes of September 8th. Do I have a motion?
Move it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We're on to consent agenda resolutions. On the consent agenda, all matters listed on the consent agenda are presented collectively to the City Council and will be considered for approval with one vote. These matters are to be considered routine in nature. There are no individual discussion of these items. If discussion is desired by one or more council member as to any particular item, then said item shall be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. On the consent agenda, we have Resolution 2021-404 through 2021-407. Do I have a motion?
Move it. Second?
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We are on to individual resolutions. We have Resolution 2021-408, which is a resolution for the payment of bills. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
No.
Resolution 2021-409, a resolution authorizing an agreement with PayByPhone through the National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, NCPA, for a mobile parking application.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-410, a resolution awarding a contract to Gallagher Contracting for senior center repairs.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-411, a resolution authorizing additional engineering and architectural services to T&M Associates for the beach headquarters building modifications.
Motion to table.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
And that resolution has been tabled. Resolution 2021-412, a resolution authorizing the purchase of tower ladder lights for the fire department.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes.
We're on to Resolution 2021-413, a resolution appointing municipal court judge for the remainder of an unexpired term, and that person is Ronald J. Tropoli.
Move it.
Move it.
Second. Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes. Before you move on a second, Judge Tropoli's in the audience, so if you just want to stand up, and congratulations and best of luck.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, still looking forward to this. You know, total Asbury, and I thank you for the faith and confidence you have in my ability.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
We'll move on to Resolution 2021-414, a resolution authorizing the disposition of surplus property.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-415, a resolution authorizing the issuance of non-recourse redevelopment area bonds of the City of Asbury Park in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1 million, Block 4001, Residential Rental Infrastructure Project.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-416, the resolution approving the transfer of property located at Block 3901, Lots 6, 7, 8, and 9, from Asbury Partners LLC to Porta Little Dink LLC, subject to conditions and pursuant to the amended and reinstated redeveloper and land disposition agreement entered into on October 7th, 2002, as amended between the City of Asbury Park and Asbury Partners LLC.
Move it.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-417, a resolution awarding a contract for the design of the Central Business District parking structure.
Motion to table.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-417 has been tabled. We have an addition to the agenda. Resolution 2021-418 is a resolution appointing a public defender for the City of Asbury Park for the remainder of 2021, and that person is Donald K. Gear, Jr.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We will now move on to ordinances. Ordinances for introduction. Our first ordinance is 2021-35, an ordinance establishing a restricted parking space for use by a handicapped person at a property located at 1113 First Avenue in the City of Asbury Park, and amending and supplementing Section 7-36 entitled Handicap Parking of Chapter 7 Traffic of the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Asbury Park, New Jersey, with a public hearing date of October 13th. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Our second ordinance for introduction is Ordinance 2021-36, a bond ordinance amending Bond Ordinance 2016-16 and Bond Ordinance 2018-4, each heretofore finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Asbury Park in the County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, the city, on April 27, 2016 and February 28, 2018, respectively, to reappropriate the aggregate amount of $447,220 and reauthorize bonds and notes in the aggregate amount of $425,923, and providing for various 2021 capital improvements in the city of Asbury, appropriating $2,489,850, therefore including a grant from the state of New Jersey in the amount of $175,000, and the reappropriation of $447,220, and authorizing the issuance of $1,996,523 bonds or notes, including the reauthorization of the bonds and notes in the aggregate amount of $425,923 of the city to finance part of the cost thereof, with a public hearing date of October 27th. Do I have a motion?
Second, that was a mouthful.
That was a mouthful. Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton. Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yeah.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Our third ordinance for introduction, ordinance 2021-37, a bond ordinance providing for various transportation utility improvements by and in the city of Asbury Park in the county of Monmouth, the state of New Jersey, appropriating $2,070,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,070,000 in bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof, with a public hearing date of October 27th. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Roll call. Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We are now on to second readings, public hearings. The first ordinance that we will conduct a public hearing on is 2021-33, an ordinance of the City of Asbury Park in the County of Monmouth, the State of New Jersey, providing for the special assessment of the cost of certain wastewater, stormwater, roadway, streetscape, utility, and other infrastructure improvements on Block 4001, Lots 2-15, within the City of Asbury Park Waterfront redevelopment area, and establishing a mechanism for the payment of the cost thereof. Before we open the meeting up to the public, we will have a brief overview of this ordinance.
Yep.
He's-
We're in 1 minute. We're going to start. Yes, in
Right
1
here.
minute.
This is a ordinance that is going to establish a special assessment on this
You're gonna
property.
You're gonna have to speak up.
or take off your mask, because people in the
Sorry.
back are not going to hear you.
This is an ordinance to establish a special assessment on Block 4001, lots 2 through 15, in accordance with the RAB laws and the local infrastructure improvement laws, and will permit the special assessments to be assessed here for the purposes of the improvements that are associated with this project.
A motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2021-33.
Move to open.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is now open on ordinance 2021-33. Any members of the public who would like to be heard, please go to the mic, state your name and address, and your comments can only be pertaining to the ordinance being presented for public hearing.
Go up to the microphone, Rita. Just state your name and address, and yes.
Rita Miranda, 8th Avenue, 504.
Okay. Dave, could you explain it? Okay.
And
He's
you have
going
to,
to
you
explain
have to
it
speak
again.
loud, too.
I'll do my best. Love. Yeah. So there are improvements associated with this particular project listed in Section 2. There's certain wastewater, stormwater, and other streetscape and utility improvements.
Don't think she's hearing this, so,
Why don't you-
okay.
And in order for the city to be able to establish an assessment under the RAB law for these improvements to be paid for, that's what this ordinance allows. So it's a special assessment on those specific properties in order to pay for the improvements associated under the ordinance. It's that simple.
Do you understand it, Rita?
I get it, but I don't know.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from the members of the public regarding this ordinance?
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is now closed on ordinance 2021-33. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2021-33?
Move to adopt?
Second.
Roll call, Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Our second ordinance up for public hearing is ordinance 2021-34, an ordinance of the City of Asbury Park authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with AP Block 4001 Venture Urban Renewal LLC and granting a tax exemption. Before we open this up to the public, we will have a brief overview.
This agreement, this ordinance will allow you to enter into a financial agreement for a payment in lieu of taxes on this specific property with the redeveloper that was named in the title of the ordinance. The structure of this particular financial agreement will allow the municipality to receive funds to repay bonds that'll be issued in accordance with the previous ordinance as well to pay for infrastructure improvements associated with the project.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 21-34?
Move it. Second?
All in favor? The public hearing is now open on ordinance 2021-34. Any members of the public who would like to be heard, please go to the mic, state your name and address for the record, and your comments can only be pertaining to the ordinance up for public hearing.
Move to close.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is now closed on ordinance 2021-34. A motion to adopt 21-34.
Move to adopt?
Second.
Roll call, Councilmember Chapman.
Yes.
Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Councilmember Kendall.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We're now on to adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Adjourn.
Move
All-
to adjourn?
All in favor? The meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.